再往后，这老板娘脾气就更加暴躁了，简直在她手下就没法干活，我们也都一个个离职了。后来怎么样就不知道了。
After that, the boss lady's temper got even worse. She became so irritable that no one could stand working under her anymore. One by one, all of us employees resigned. What happened afterward, I have no idea. But that story really shows something. Many older single women are exactly like that. They find a younger man but don't realize what he truly wants from them. In truth, the way older single women feel about 18-year-old boys is no different from how men feel about 18-year-old girls. Just look at those concerts. How many 40-year-old aunties are there screaming, "Mommy loves you," at the young idols on stage? Their level of obsession is often far more intense than that of middle-aged men. So don't think it's only men who are obsessed with youth. Women are the same. When women age, many of them become even more obsessed with young, handsome boys. Their eyes light up when they see those idols. The truth is, many women are more attracted to youth than men are. The only thing that holds them back is poverty, which helps them maintain their moral boundaries. Older single women don't date 18-year-olds simply because those boys don't want them. It's that simple. Unless a woman is extremely wealthy and willing to spend generously, she won't be able to get a young man. Even in reality, wealthy older women still often fail to find very young partners because they are too calculating. They want someone young, but they're not willing to spend too much money, and they still want to control every aspect of the relationship. Men, on the other hand, are different. When a man wants to pursue a younger woman, he's willing to spend money, show affection, and be attentive. That's why, even in marriages where the man is much older than the woman, they can still live happily together for years. But when the woman is much older than the man, those marriages rarely last long. Now, let's talk about the current situation for Chinese men. Many media outlets, even the Spring Festival Gala, often promote the image of Chinese men who humble themselves to show family harmony. They say things like, "My wife is the boss. I have to ask my wife for permission. Everything I do is for my wife and kids," or "My wife found my secret savings again." And indeed, many Chinese men really do live like that. They become tools, money machines, and laborers. They work hard, earn money, celebrate every holiday by buying gifts for their wives and children, and in the end, the only day truly belonging to them is Tomb Sweeping Day, Qingming Festival. And somehow, they take pride in that. The strange part is such men receive no respect at all from their families. In fact, they're often looked down upon. This kind of attitude and mindset among Chinese men would be incomprehensible in any other country. In comedy sketches, they kneel on washboards and play the submissive fool, and looking back now, that's not just humor. It's a serious social problem.
真是无语呀！
Honestly, some girls' ways of thinking today are just unbelievable. As a woman myself, I can't even empathize. I truly can't understand. Today, a girl told me, since I put on makeup and dress nicely to go on a blind date and have dinner with a guy, then he should pay for the meal. I was speechless. What kind of logic is that? Let me tell you what happened. Last week, I introduced a girl born in 1996 to a guy born in 1994. Because of scheduling issues, they didn't meet right away, but exchanged contact info and chatted for about a week. Eventually, they agreed to go out for dinner. The guy asked her what she wanted to eat. She said she wanted Japanese food. So the guy found a Japanese restaurant, and they went there together. After dinner, the guy called me and said he thought the girl was nice, and he wanted to know what she thought about him, whether they might be compatible. He said, "Can you subtly ask her? Don't be too direct." But I thought, what's the point of being subtle? So I just asked directly, "Hey, what do you think of the guy? He thinks you're nice? Do you think you're a good match?" The girl was very straightforward too. She said, "I don't think we have chemistry. I don't really like him. Let's just forget it." So I relayed that to the guy. She said she doesn't feel a connection and doesn't think you're a good match. The guy said, "Okay, that's fine. But can you ask her if we can split the bill?" Dinner cost more than 860 yuan. Now, as a matchmaker, since both came to me for introductions, I wanted to be fair. 860 yuan is quite a lot, so I also thought it'd be reasonable to split it. So I messaged the girl and said, "Hey beauty, you see, it's totally normal if you two aren't compatible, right? No big deal. Since you won't have any further interaction, let's not owe each other anything. How about you split the dinner bill from last night and send him back his part?" I thought I said it very politely and reasonably, but guess what? She replied. She said, "Do I still need to split it? I already paid by putting on makeup and wearing nice clothes for the date. You know how expensive it is for a woman to do makeup." When I saw her message, my mind went completely blank. I didn't even know how to respond. What kind of logic is that? According to her, putting on makeup and dressing up to meet a guy was already part of her payment for the date. But then by that logic, shouldn't a guy's costs styling his hair, applying hair gel, dressing neatly also count as payment? I personally believe a woman's makeup and outfit should never be counted as something the man owes her for. That's just part of her own self-presentation and confidence, just like a man shaving and fixing his hairstyle before a date. Everyone's an adult here. Being decent and well-groomed is basic respect. It's totally normal for a blind date not to work out, but don't try to take advantage of others. If you owe someone, pay them back. That's just common sense. I really can't understand the logic otherwise.
彩礼的真相大公开啊！
Here's the real truth about bride price, and why so many men nowadays are too afraid to get married. You know why, right? Because the bride price has become outrageously expensive. Let me tell you a painful, real-life example. There's this young guy around here who paid a bride price of 300,000 yuan, preparing to get married. But just 2 months later, he only got 150,000 yuan back. The other half simply disappeared. It turned out that the woman used that money to pay off her debts. Think about that operation carefully. Isn't that insane? That's why now, whenever people talk about abolishing the bride price, they're actually saving lives. The truth is, many girls today treat the bride price as a hole-filling fund. They have no job, no savings, and are just waiting for that one big payment from the groom to cover their debts. Once they get the money, they can easily make up some excuse. We had a fight. We're not suitable. Let's break up, or even go straight to divorce. Either way, they've made money with zero risk, guaranteed profit, no loss. So what's really behind the soaring divorce rate? Let's break it down. First, marriages have become zero cost for women. They don't pay or contribute anything, so when it comes time for divorce, they feel nothing. They can walk away easily. Second, the bride price has turned into a money-making tree. Whether they get the marriage certificate or not doesn't matter as long as the money is in their hands. They can flip the table anytime. Third, many divorces now start from picking fights out of thin air. Even when the man did nothing wrong, the woman can still create problems. And since there's no way for the man to get the bride price back, he just loses everything. Let's be honest here, it's not that men can't afford to marry, it's that they don't dare to marry. If a girl opens her mouth and demands 200,000 yuan just to start a marriage, shouldn't she at least ask herself, do I really deserve that much? If you truly love someone, would you ever push him to the point of bankruptcy and despair? Of course not. If there's love, you'd think for each other, not just for yourself. Isn't that right?
咱们普通人的顶配婚姻是什么样子的？就这4点你记住了。
What does a perfect marriage for ordinary people look like? Just remember these 4 points. First, both husband and wife are only children. That means neither family has too many complicated relatives to interfere or depend on your small household. Life stays simple, no messy extended family politics. Second, both sets of parents have pensions, so elder care is not a problem. You as a couple don't need to sacrifice your own lives or finances to take care of them. Third, both families are in decent financial condition. Both have a house and a car. You have yours, and your partner has theirs. Both of you have stable jobs, similar family backgrounds, and similar upbringings. Your values are aligned and compatible. Fourth, you share common lifestyles and interests. You can do many things together, which makes your bond stronger over time. If you can meet these 4 conditions, then you don't need to be extremely rich to live a happy life. This kind of small, peaceful, and balanced happiness, only those who have it truly understand how wonderful it is.
很多女人根本就不会找男人，我说的这样的男人才
Many women simply don't know how to choose a man. The kind of man I'm talking about, that's the truly hidden type of immature yet wise man. The so-called invisible gem. These men tend to be low-key and clear-minded. Even though they might not be very handsome, with a little grooming, they can actually look quite charming. Their social circle is clean and no random or messy friends, and their life path is simple, between home, work, or maybe a quiet fishing trip. When it comes to love, they follow the principle of go with the flow. So they're either as pure as a blank sheet of paper or have been single for years. It's ironic, while women are getting hurt by those manipulative players and love scammers they meet on social media, these good men are quietly living decent, peaceful lives. Yet in the end, women complain that all men are bad. And so even those men who've never even been in a relationship end up being unfairly blamed. The truth is, it's not that there are too many bad men, it's that women simply don't know how to recognize these hidden, high-quality ones. These men just don't know how to market themselves. In today's shallow and fast-paced dating scene, the quiet ones are destined to be overlooked. But that doesn't stop the flashy players from dominating the dating world. These silent men, meanwhile, are living their lives like a book worth reading slowly and carefully, profound, steady, and full of hidden value.
女生们看过来，还有5种男生简直比限量款还难抢。
Girls, listen up. There are 5 types of men who are even harder to find than a limited edition luxury item. If you come across one, grab him fast. First, the nightclub immune type. After work, he goes straight home. Bars? Clubs? He doesn't even know what those are. Second, the domestic all-rounder. He notices everything that needs to be done, washing dishes, mopping floors, taking care of kids. He can handle it all. With him, you'll never be treated like a maid. You'll realize that guys like this are now extremely popular on Douyin, TikTok China. Third, the man with no bad habits. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink excessively, he saves money, and stays healthy. His reliability index is off the charts. Fourth, his social circle is pure and simple. No messy relationships, no ambiguous female friends. His friend circle is as clear as a pot of transparent soup. Fifth, the innocent lover, a true relationship beginner, but when he falls in love, he's completely devoted. Usually, he's only had 1 or 2 ex-girlfriends at most. Once he's serious about you, he'll be faithful and willingly maintain at least a 3-meter distance from other women. Men like these are a rare species in today's world. So girls, keep your eyes open if you meet one, don't hesitate. Hold on to him before someone else does. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me.
男人都喜欢18岁的小姑娘，为什么大龄剩女不喜欢18岁的小伙子？
Men always like 18-year-old girls. But why don't older single women like 18-year-old boys? When I was working years ago, my boss was a woman quite rich, but also very unattractive. When she turned 40, she managed to win over a young man in the company, around 26 or 27 years old. The young guy was very handsome, and everyone could tell that he married her for her money. But the problem was, the boss lady never let him spend any of it. She was controlling in every way. Eventually, the young man couldn't stand it anymore and filed for divorce. They had a huge argument in the office, and we all heard it. The boss lady yelled at him, calling him ungrateful. The man shot back. "You're so old, what do you think I'm with you for? You never let me spend a single cent, and on top of that, you even deducted part of my salary." The boss lady replied, "Isn't my money our money?" And the young man snapped, "If all the money is in your hands, how can it be ours? Should I wait 30 more years to inherit it when you die?" In the end, they still divorced. And of course, the young man managed to take a portion of her fortune when they split. I was born in 1992, I'm 34 now. I've never been married, and I don't have children. Being single at this age is both anxiety and freedom combined. Sometimes I feel lonely and defeated because I haven't married. But at the same time, I feel incredibly liberated. No in-laws, no family responsibilities. I can travel anywhere I want, buy whatever I like, and experience a kind of freedom I've never had before. Right now, I'm stuck in this very contradictory stage of life, torn between the pressure of loneliness and the joy of independence.
实在找不到合适的，就找个条件好的嫁了也行啊，我也不想再挑了。
If you really can't find someone suitable, then just find a man with good conditions and marry him that works too, right? I don't want to be picky anymore. Do you realize this? A woman saying, "I'll just randomly find a rich man to marry," is just as laughable as a man saying, "I'll wait until I have money, and then young women will be easy to get." Men won't magically get handed money just because they got older, and women who can't find a satisfactory partner won't have someone assigned to them either. You say you'll find one, so will people just let you find one? So I came to you, didn't I? I still trust your ability and your connections. That's no use, I'm not the one living with you. It has to be someone else who agrees. Then he'll agree, right? Tell me so. What if it works out later on? Generally, there are 4 types. First, the good wife, good mother type. For big and small matters at home, he doesn't need to worry. You take good care of his parents, manage the children's education, and maintain the necessary kinship and social ties. All he needs to do is bring money home. If you need something, say it directly, don't create trouble or make a fuss. See, with the mindset you've just shown, you're definitely not suitable for this. When wealthy men pick a woman with average conditions, it's basically because she's low maintenance and well-behaved. If you can't be low maintenance and even add trouble not earning money, yet wanting to spend, still insisting on having the final say, taking a perfectly normal man works outside, a woman manages inside division of labor, and insisting that it's being a nanny, others won't find you tough. They'll just think you're making trouble and wanting everything both ways. Second, equal family background and capability. Your abilities or family resources can help him go further. For example, you earn 500,000 yuan, he also earns 500,000 yuan. By combining and exchanging assets and resources, together you could earn over 1 million yuan, maybe even double again in time. Even if you can't help him make a big leap, at least when he faces difficulties or a crisis, you can lend a hand and make his current standard of living more stable. But obviously, you don't have these conditions either, do you? Third, young, beautiful, and emotionally intelligent. Men do have vanity. They feel that a wife's looks are their face, and they enjoy the envious gazes of others. I'm still young and I look okay, you say. But being young and pretty is only the admission ticket. High emotional intelligence is the real finishing move. No one envies a mere vase. If you're not only emotionally intelligent, but can also handle interpersonal matters for him, meet his social needs, know what to do and say in different situations, and provide emotional value that keeps him steady and trusting, then even if your other conditions are a bit weaker, he'll still choose you. So match yourself to the right seat and see which type you belong to. Isn't there one more type? Yes, the one who climbed up with him from the bottom. The two have walked together for years through all kinds of storms. The woman didn't despise his poor conditions at first, so after he turns things around, he naturally can't despise her for being ordinary. They have a comrade in arms bond. But can you right now find a potential stalk and fight alongside him? You can't. Or they were together when they were young campus love, both relatively simple. When the girl got together with him, she didn't know how good his family background was. By the time they discussed marriage, the feelings were already deep, so the man naturally wouldn't care too much about the woman's conditions. But you've clearly missed that timing and already entered society, so there's no need to bring this up. But my best friend found a boyfriend with great conditions, and she's none of these types. Exactly, boyfriend, not husband. When wealthy men choose a wife, it's basically these 4 situations. Apart from that, almost everything else is short-term. If you don't have access to wealthy men, then observe a bit. Is your lady boss like this?
离婚的人应该怎么做择偶定位？现在离婚率是真的很高啊，所以说
How should divorced people position themselves for choosing a partner? Divorce rates are really high now. So, for mate selection positioning, not only do unmarried young people come to me, but many divorced men and women do as well. To be frank, there are 2 kinds of divorce, but men, in general, are pretty double standard about it. As long as a man has even a bit of achievement and has his own child, about 85% of these men cannot accept a woman who also brings a child. They'll say, I'm not good at handling the relationship with someone else's kid. I'll say, but brother, you have a child yourself. He'll reply, then I just won't look for a divorced woman with a child. So for women who are divorced and bringing a child, the probability of re-entering a fairly good marriage is quite small. Here's my advice to the sisters watching who are already married and have had children. If you can avoid divorce, then avoid it as long as your husband doesn't have some fundamental principle-level problem. If you're not a rich woman yourself, I'm telling you, bringing a child into the second marriage market, unless you plan to never marry again and only date, the odds are not in your favor. In fact, I often advise many capable, well-employed sisters who bring kids, don't get married, just date. There's really no need. Many men who come to me have decent economic conditions. Maybe they're small leaders inside the system, or their income is 300,000 to 500,000 yuan, and they feel pretty good about themselves. And to be fair, their conditions really are not bad. If they don't have an urgent sexual need, they honestly don't need to find a woman. So when men come to me for mate selection positioning, I ask first, what's your ask for the next marriage? If you want children, then marriage is necessary. If you already have children and don't want more, frankly, I advise men too. Just date. There's no need to step into marriage. But in consultations, I meet many men with a kind of traditional obsession. If I don't enter marriage and just date, I feel insecure. It's weird. Many people just can't accept having kids already and then only dating without marrying. Honestly, I'm posting this video to advise men and women with children. If you don't plan to have more kids, there's really no need to force yourselves into marriage. You and your ex had a child together, and that didn't stop you from divorcing, did it? Why rush into another marriage now? Date happily if you can. If not, then break up. The cost of a breakup is far less than the cost of a divorce. Of course, for people with traditional mindsets, those who truly want more children, who have substantial wealth, or are simply very traditional, it does make sense to do mate selection positioning. But sometimes, don't be too double standard. Some brothers with so-so conditions, bringing a child themselves, still refuse to accept a partner who brings a child and want to find someone never married. Some even can't accept someone who had a short first marriage with no kids, insisting on never married. If you come to me like that, I won't say you're asking to be scolded, but you're setting yourself up. If your financial conditions are exceptionally strong, that's another story. But if they're average and you still want someone never married, never had kids, and expect her to come be a stepmother to your child, why should she? You can't accept someone else's child, so why should someone accept yours? So, brothers, if your wife isn't wildly out of line, then don't divorce for no reason. Don't think, everyone's divorcing, so I'll divorce too. That's not how this works. Second marriages are really not that easy to find. Sure, for people with an open mind, second marriage, bring a child. Or with decent economic strength, just dating can be quite enjoyable. See how it goes? If you date for 3 to 5 years and things are consistently good, that's when you can consider whether to get the certificate or even have another child. But seriously, in the second marriage market, especially for those bringing kids, finding a partner is very, very difficult. Everyone has already experienced a failed marriage, weighed pros and cons, dealt with in-law conflicts. So when entering a second marriage, you must be more cautious, consider more comprehensively, and don't rush in. Even more so, don't blindly decide to have another child in a second marriage. To be honest, I have plenty of clients on their third or fourth marriages coming from mate selection positioning. I just don't get it after so much practice. How is it still not clear? Many times I don't even know what to say. So, about second marriages and remarriage, if you can't figure it out, you can come to Xiaomin to help analyze things objectively and rationally, and see whether it's really necessary to step into that besieged city again. ChatGPT đã nói, a woman was driving against traffic and sideswiped a man, yet she proceeded to verbally attack him and falsely accuse him of hitting her, demanding that he apologize. Throughout the entire confrontation, the man calmly repeated one line, "I'll wait for the traffic police's decision." In the end, the police determined that the woman was fully responsible for the accident and that she had committed a hit and run. Even so, she went online and posted the man's unblurred video, attempting to dox and publicly shame him. This incident, along with the previous 5 library cases, has gone viral, and everyone knows why. People's anger toward injustice has nowhere to go, so they pour it all out online. Just listen to her attitude during the confrontation, so arrogant, so aggressive, so unreasonable. You think you're in the right? Oh, you think you're justified? You hit me, and you think you're right? You hit me, and you're still acting proud? Wow, you're really something, aren't you? So capable, huh? I'm not even talking about who's right or wrong, but was it you? Did you hit me? You hit me, and now you want to hit me again? What kind of person are you? How have you even lived this long? You hit me and think it's no big deal? You hit me and still think you're fine? You're unbelievable. You hit me and act like it's nothing. You really think it's all fine, don't you? You're something else really incredible, unbelievable. Video.
那为啥他要罔顾自己逆行撞人的事实，反咬男生一口，甚至可能讹诈呢？很简单。
So why did she insist on denying the fact that she was driving the wrong way, hitting the man, and even turning the tables to accuse him, possibly trying to extort him? It's simple because there is zero cost for her to twist the truth and deceive others. If the man had been a little more gentlemanly, well-mannered, or compassionate, if out of politeness he had simply said sorry in response to her aggressive questioning, "Didn't you hit me?" then that single sorry could have been used as evidence for her to attack him online or blackmail him further. Look at the 5 library cases, aren't they the perfect example? But what lies deeper, the reason people feel furious, frustrated, and helpless is this. Why did she dare to do it so openly? Again, it's simple because this society has sent her a clear message. As long as I have the right gender label, I am always justified. As long as she carries the victim or weak woman tag, she doesn't need to care about morality. She can commit wrongs righteously and without consequence. That's what's truly infuriating. This kind of gender-based privilege, using femininity as a shield for blackmail, deceit, and false accusations, has become normalized and public, yet no force seems willing to punish it. Worse still, society continues to strengthen their privilege and sympathy to the point that now, even when men are trying to escape the traps of marriage and relationships, they still can't because their everyday lives are being seriously affected. One final piece of advice. When you encounter similar incidents, never ever think she's a woman, she's weak, I should go easy. The harm they can inflict is far greater than that of some drunken man yelling in a night market. Also, never fall into their verbal traps trying to justify yourself. Whether you choose to stay polite or lash out, you must remember. The first battle is the decisive one. Wait for the arrival of the authoritative personnel, the police, the law before you speak. The biggest mistake this young man made was that he didn't immediately start recording. In this society, where false accusations can destroy lives, that was too naive. At such a critical moment, he was still casually drinking water. Without video evidence, if the other side edits and spreads a fake version, what can you do? You can't even describe what she looked like, let alone prove what happened. And sure, saying, "I'll listen to the traffic police" sounds rational, but what if the traffic police that shows up is a biased officer or a friendly big brother who turns the tables? Would you still just sit there and wait? I wouldn't. The best thing to say is, I'll talk when the police arrive. Before that, I have nothing to say. And lastly, I hope that from now on, when men are being harassed or falsely accused, we can help each other record a video, act as a witness, anything. Right now, society still assumes that women are always the weaker ones and naturally takes their side, leaving men isolated and defenseless. In this dark, predatory jungle we live in today, the only ones men can truly rely on are each other.
30岁的男人必须要明白的情感真相。
就是如果你想去解决生理问题，
The emotional truth that every 30-year-old man must understand is this. If what you want is simply to solve physical needs, then there is absolutely no reason to waste your time and energy on a woman who doesn't love you, right? If you devote your time, effort, and money to one of those ungrateful, greedy women who only takes but never gives, then what you've spent would have been enough to find someone else, someone who might actually want to be with you sincerely, even if it's for money, someone who's at least honest about her motives. Let's face it, if something can be solved with money, then stop throwing your emotions into it. Because once you invest both your money and your feelings, you'll soon discover you're being played over and over again. And honestly, it's not worth it. It's not cost-effective. I know this sounds harsh, but this is a brutal truth about relationships that most men only realize too late.
别人家的女儿远不远嫁，跟我是没半毛钱关系的。但我的女儿
Whether other people's daughters marry far away or not has nothing to do with me. But my daughter, she absolutely cannot marry far away. I've been working in Wuhan for 20 years, and this thought has never changed. Just recently, I saw a post online. A young woman who had married far from home got into a fight with her husband. It was raining heavily. She ran out without even taking her phone, and no one from her husband's family tried to stop her. Later, a kind passerby found her on a bridge and called the police. If something like that ever happened to my daughter, I think I'd rather die from heartbreak. It's too painful even to imagine. I can't stand that kind of suffering. I have a friend whose daughter married overseas. Now she can only come home once a year, and even then she has to choose the cheapest flight. Just one trip for 2 people costs 10 or 20,000 yuan. The daughter said, "It's not that I don't want to go home, I just can't afford it." So yes, long-distance marriage is tied directly to financial status. The old saying is right. Poor couples have 100 sorrows. If there's no money, you might not even be able to afford a ticket home to visit your parents. And women aren't as strong as we think, especially after giving birth. If her parents don't help, and her in-laws also don't help, how can 2 young people possibly manage a household alone? It's impossible. That's why so many young people today are afraid of marriage, and even more afraid of having children. The economic pressure is simply too heavy. And another thing, today's young people have quick tempers. No one wants to back down. A small disagreement can easily turn into a big fight, sometimes even physical conflict. If a woman marries far away and something like that happens, what can she do? At best, she can call her parents and cry. But as parents, all we can do is worry helplessly on the phone. We can't do anything to help. That's why I've drawn a circle for my daughter. With Wuhan as the center, she can only marry someone within a 2-hour radius. Ideally, she should find someone from Wuhan itself. If a man from another city is truly outstanding, then he should move to Wuhan. I can help with a house and a car. No problem. This isn't selfishness. It's protection. A son can travel the world, but a daughter, I just want to keep close by. Of course, if someday my daughter becomes truly exceptional, and the nation needs her, then for the sake of the country, I'd let her go, even if it means she marries far away. But right now, she's not at that stage. So my stance is very clear. Absolutely no long-distance marriage.
多找男人，钱要自己赚，饭呢要自己做，礼物也得自己买。
I look for men, but I have to earn my own money, cook my own meals, buy my own gifts, handle everything myself when something happens. And even when I'm sick, I go to the hospital alone. So if I'm already this amazing, why would I even need a man? Am I crazy? After seeing this fairy woman's statement, I just have to ask, how do you all feel after hearing it? Now, I finally understand that for many of these so-called goddesses in our society, simply being alive and breathing already counts as being outstanding. Honestly, it's ridiculous. But here's the key question. Why must you do everything on your own? Can't you ask for help? Can't you rely on someone when needed? And please, can you at least pronounce your words properly before preaching such poisonous nonsense? The fact that this kind of toxic motivational garbage can spread so widely in our society just shows how many so-called goddesses today are actually emotionally stunted giant babies. These women don't seek men to share joy and hardship. They're looking for a father figure, a provider, someone who will feed them, clothe them, and pamper them like a child. Isn't that absurd? Two people being together, whether dating or married, it's normal that each person should earn their own money, right? What else did you expect? Why is it that so many women nowadays have only one thought in their heads? I need a man to support me. That's why I always say, even though feudal society has long ended, many women's minds are still wrapped in the old foot-binding cloth of dependency. Deep down, they still want to rely on men, depend on them financially, emotionally, and materially, while they themselves are lazy, idle, and entitled. Aren't you the ones claiming to be independent modern women? Then act like it. In today's world, whether you're a man or a woman, you are first and foremost an individual. Whether you have a partner or not, you should still earn your own living, manage your own life, and stand on your own 2 feet. That's basic logic. Of course, when you have someone you love, taking care of each other and being considerate is fine, that's normal. But the problem is, relationships should never be one-sided. Unfortunately, many women today expect men to be the only ones who sacrifice, provide, and worship them like deities. Tell me, isn't that insane? Who's the one that's sick, men or women? The answer is obvious. And that's why I keep emphasizing the biggest problem in our society is that many women lack an independent personality. Without personal independence, what's the point of talking about relationships or equality? There's nothing more to say. You can try explaining logic to them all day long, but it won't work because deep down, they're still giant babies, completely dependent and self-centered. And that, right there, is the biggest difference between Chinese women and Western women.
很多人在骂我，说我整天在抨击女性，从来不说男人不好。
A lot of people curse me, saying I constantly criticize women and never say anything bad about men. They say, there are so many scumbag men who hurt women, why don't you talk about them? You're just pandering to men. So today, I'll answer that. I've never attacked men or women blindly. What I'm trying to do is to promote a healthy and rational mindset. Are scumbag men disgusting? Of course they are. Many of them are morally rotten. They've deceived countless young women and destroyed countless families. They absolutely deserve public condemnation, even to the point of being spat upon by 1 million people, and it still wouldn't be too much. But here's the issue. Does anyone actually think that a scumbag man's behavior is right? I don't think so. Even those who secretly envy them or wish they could act like them still know, deep down, that such behavior is wrong. Even the scumbags themselves know they're trash. However, with many scumbag women, it's a completely different story. They genuinely don't think they're doing anything wrong. Some even believe their actions are justified, that they are setting an example for all women. Not long ago, I even saw a married female influencer doing a seductive live stream, and the comments were full of praise. Sister, you're a role model for all women. You're amazing. Can you believe that? What's even more dangerous is that they've now started rebranding themselves with a fancy and powerful label. They call themselves feminists. But here's the scary part. Being scummy isn't the worst part. The real danger is that they're convincing more and more people that being scummy is right. That kind of ideological corruption is what's truly terrifying. And let me make one thing clear, these women are not real feminists. True feminism is something that deserves respect.
看到一个视频说男人是借来的独立，内容大致是男人是靠父母的。
I recently saw a video claiming that men's independence is borrowed. The idea was that men rely on their parents' support and the help of people around them, that on their own, they're useless and incapable. And I saw a lot of people liking that video. No doubt, the ones liking it were exactly the same kind of people who complained that their own families didn't give them the life they wanted. Isn't that ironic? On one hand, they complain about their parents not providing enough. On the other hand, they mock others for having what they themselves don't. Sour grapes, plain and simple. Let me tell you something. A person's family background and social connections are the 2 most important factors that determine how well they can live in society, even more important than education, IQ, or skills. So, to some of these women, can you stop being hypocritical? You say that men's independence depends on others. Fine, then be truly independent yourself. But then why are you networking upward? Why are you trying to connect with powerful people? Why are you dreaming of marrying a rich, domineering CEO? Is that your idea of independence? Isn't it because your own parents can't give you the life you want? Tell me, doesn't that sound absurd? Some people are born with support, others have mentors and guidance along the way, making their journey smooth. That's just life. So, sisters, either we all work hard together and build ourselves up network, improve and climb, or just admit it when someone has better family background and resources than you. Don't act foolish, because every time you criticize men for relying on others, you're actually insulting yourself too. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
就问你们男生一个问题。
Let me ask you men one question. If you had to choose right now, would you rather marry a 36-year-old rich woman earning 50,000 yuan a month or a 22-year-old beautiful girl who only makes 3,000 to 4,000 yuan a month? I actually asked this exact question to 10 single men around me, and honestly, their answers completely surprised me. I thought for sure that a wealthy older woman would seem more attractive, but 8 out of 10 men told me they would choose to marry the 23-year-old beautiful girl. If it were you, what would you choose? Tell me in the comments, I really want to see how you would decide.
能出现在相亲角的女人全部都是捞女，无一例外。
The men who go there are usually those whose conditions aren't good enough, those who are a bit older, or those being pressured by their families to get married quickly. Any man who has even a little financial stability would never go to a matchmaking corner to find a partner. These women use dating as bait, but in reality, they treat the matchmaking market as a money-making channel. Do you really think they come there to find love? No, they come there to escape poverty. Brothers, if a woman truly wanted to find a partner, she would never show up in such a place. Smart women get married while they are still young and in their prime, not hang their personal profiles on display boards, exposed to sun and wind, for everyone to gawk at like a public auction. Isn't that shameful? Don't they feel embarrassed? Good things are always snatched up quickly. Only what's left behind is trash. If we don't abolish the bride price, full payment for houses and cars, not a single one of these women would ever get married. Divorced single mothers come looking for stepfathers men who will help them out of debt and raise their children. Older leftover women come looking for rich and handsome men to help them leap across social classes. To put it bluntly, this entire group hides behind the banner of marriage to get rich. But men today are no longer naive. They know perfectly well that the women who show up in those places are all gold diggers. They value money more than their own lives. So who would dare to step into that bottomless pit? Brothers, the matchmaking market is not a place for us. Marrying older, leftover women is not our duty. Let them wait a little longer, maybe when menopause comes. Their dreams will finally come true. Let them wait. Someone asked why young guys with yellow hair can have girlfriends. It's simple because they're young. People say things like, they provide emotional value, but honestly, that's secondary. The real reason these young men can have girlfriends is that the girls themselves are young. A 20-year-old woman talks about love. A 25-year-old woman looks at your career and future prospects. A 30-year-old woman wants a car, a house, and to enjoy the fruits of your labor without lifting a finger. Have you ever seen a 30-year-old guy with yellow hair surrounded by a bunch of 30-year-old girlfriends? Just imagine that terrifying. A 20-year-old woman will be happy all day if you give her a candy. A 30-year-old woman, if you give her the same candy, will call you an idiot. The younger the woman, the purer her emotions. A 40-year-old woman can still fight alongside you, work hard with you. But a 30-year-old woman, what's left to fight for? She only wants your car and your house. So it's not that these young guys with yellow hair have some kind of charm that makes them irresistible. It's simply that they're young, and the women they deal with are also young. That's why their feelings are more genuine and pure. Seriously, it's unbelievable.
网上总有人去讨论说女人结婚有啥好处，那怎么就没有人问问男人结婚到底有啥好处？
Online, people often ask, what benefits do women get from marriage? But no one ever asks, what benefits do men get from marriage? Some say it's for carrying on the family line. But come on nowadays, even without marriage, people can still have children. Others say it's to find a stable companion. But really, if a man doesn't marry, will he just die of loneliness? Then there are those who say men want a long-term caretaker. That's even more unrealistic. In this day and age, who's actually taking care of whom? Take cooking, for example. Do modern women even cook anymore? In most households I know, it's the man who cooks better. And to those women who say, getting married means becoming someone's caretaker, I just want to ask, really? Since when does marriage mean you're just a maid? In today's society, I haven't seen any man being served like a king. So let's be honest, what real benefits does marriage bring to men anymore? To be frank, I can't think of many. But not getting married? That has plenty of advantages. First, less financial stress. No need to worry about sky-high bride prices, buying houses or cars, or spending on gold jewelry and wedding rings. The money you earn stays in your own pocket. Back then, you saved money just to buy your girlfriend designer bags or cosmetics. Now, that same money can buy fishing gear, graphics cards, or sports equipment. Much more satisfying. Second, more freedom. Your paycheck stays under your control. Weekends are yours to do whatever you want. No restrictions, no nagging. So it's no wonder that more and more men are choosing not to marry. They've done the math. Marriage means draining not just your own savings, but possibly your parents' and even grandparents' lifetime savings, just to end up in debt, and then bringing home someone you have to constantly please and tiptoe around. The effort and reward are completely unbalanced. Who wouldn't feel frustrated? Go look at the dating market. Women looking for husbands are everywhere, while men are far fewer. Why? Because they've realized it's not worth it. Marriage should be like a business partnership. First, the two sides need to be compatible. Family background, lifestyle, values not too far apart. Otherwise, there'll always be conflict. Second, the two people must work together, both contributing to the family. You can't just have one person doing all the work while the other just takes. If one side always feels they're giving too much, and the other side keeps demanding more, then what's the point? Marriage isn't a debt. No one owes anyone. In the end, a marriage only works if both people feel it's worth it. If only one person keeps giving, while the other just sits back and enjoys, then honestly, it's better not to get married at all. In recent years, the marriage and gender trust crisis in China has become a profound social issue. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, in 2024 alone, the country recorded over 8.2 million divorces, while the number of marriage registrations fell to fewer than 6 million couples, the lowest level in more than 40 years. Experts are calling this the collapse of the traditional Chinese family model, as more and more young people are refusing to marry, fearing childbirth, and choosing to live alone instead. A survey by Xinhua News Agency also revealed that over 56% of men aged 25-39 said they no longer believe in marriage, while nearly 48% of urban women stated that marriage is no longer necessary for happiness. These numbers reveal a harsh reality that amid economic pressure, growing inequality, and gender conflicts, love in China has gradually turned into a tiring transaction. This is China's social trends, where social contradictions are being exposed more clearly than ever before. And it's also China's social trends that shows us. Behind the skyscrapers and the booming economy lie lonely, uncertain hearts, struggling to find meaning and trust in modern relationships. So what do you think? Are young people in China losing faith in love, or are they simply becoming wiser and protecting themselves? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to support our channel and help us bring you more honest insights into Chinese society. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.